Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 30 Plus Click with Max and Yo-Yo. Did you miss us? Oh. Oh, okay. Today we're going to jump right in. I had the pleasure of having a conversation with one of my friends this weekend. This story is going to start as a jump off point for our conversations today. So here's the story. My friend wanted advice about a situation that he was going through. We're going to call him Boy A in this scenario. Of course, I don't have all the details, but we're going to talk with what he gave us and we're going to have a conversation from there. Okay, so here's the story. Boy A has been dating a girl for quite some time. He's poured love into this girl. He wants her to be successful, independent, do well, and he's made an atmosphere for her to flourish. She needs this, he gets it. She needs that, he gets it. Like he's just been all round solid. I think the where there is a shaking is before boy A came on board in girl's life. Um, Girl was dating boy B due to some situation that I don't know, not my problem. But girl was on and off again with boy B. And so I guess we've come to a place in time where boy A has now, through a lot of like messed up things happen that I don't want to go into too deeply, finds out that his girlfriend is still somewhat in communication with boy B. And if anything, that she's now dating both of them. Girl B or girl in question is more towards looking like, mm, boy A is kind of like my ideal person, but boy B, he just has that that I can't seem to break out of. And so she can't seem to make a decision. Boy A is frustrated and he's feeling used, he's feeling heartbroken, he's feeling devastated by the situation that is currently ongoing. And so he brought it to me this week and he was like, can we have a conversation? What do we think? So I'm going to put down this mic and let you take it. What do you think, girl?
Well, a multiple factor that could surround that. And so I know in our path to life, in a path to relationship, this scenario it's not unusual. It is very common. And so because it's very common, we have so many people that would have gone through this path, either from the boy's perspective or from the girl's perspective. And so that is very common. And so if you're hearing us today, you connected to us either on YouTube or Spotify or Instagram or Facebook or on Twitter. It would really, really value your kind comments and your opinion about this. Okay, so we're just here. It's just Max and Yo-Yo. We're just talking about this, but we would like some of your insights. You want to share your experience on the comments, or do you want to share your opinion, or do you have a word of advice for boy A, or you have a word of advice for the girlfriend, or you have a word of advice for boy B? Please leave your comments, leave your thoughts. I know that some have somehow, they might just stumble into this podcast and they'll be fortunate to read your lines, and maybe that might just help their misery. And so, talking about the scenario, so like I said, it is very common, right? And so, because it's very common, you really don't know the reason why. Sometimes the girls might not be able to express why they're doing that, but they have their one reason. Also, just to give the girls or the ladies some flowers, it can be solely out of confusion. When you're at the point where you're confused, they both have the same skills, they have the same values.
Oh
Please
no, about
don't
that.
stop.
Stop it.
Don't.
Stop.
Your mic is down. Off the mic.
Mhm. I don't agree.
Off the
Please
mic.
don't, don't insult my friend. Please.
And so they would have the same strength. They would have the same, maybe they
They have
both have the same.
some strength, not the same. Come on, come on. Some strength,
Oh
not.
my God.
Listen, I'm not gonna let you sit here and put them on the same cadre. No, 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 no. They have some strength.
Okay. So they have this almost the same qualities that she really likes in a guy. I'm sure that's why the confusion is there, because if they are like black and white, I'm sure she will not be confused. She'll be able to know where to follow. So, but maybe they both have the same similarities, and so that's why she's a bit confused. But my take at that point of confusion is just best to excuse yourself. Just step back and just, just breathe, step back. Don't commit yourself to either A or B. Just breathe. That way, you might be able to see clearly, and sometimes you may be able to see the full total package. And if you want to make your decision, it is not on the basis of A's emotion, neither is it on the basis of B's emotion. And if you're a believer, it is also very important to pray. And the peace of God, you can experience that peace in both ways. You can create that peace, you can also experience the peace. So if you're trying to validate your reason for every little voice that speaks into your heart, you're arguing it out, you're bringing forward your strong reasons, just know you're just in the pathway of creating your peace. And so if you're at that point where you are at peace with either of your decision, you're not making excuses for anyone. You're not comparing either. So you also want to follow peace, and you also want to seek advice. Are there people that have gone ahead of you, or maybe senior folks that are married, or maybe they're even single, or you trust them? Be open and talk. So when you're having such conversation, if you put some things under your sleeves, you would also hear an advice or a counsel that is not complete. So if you want a thorough and complete advice, you also need to be very transparent and vulnerable. And so, because it's a very sensitive issue, you want to be vulnerable. You also want to be mindful of the people you talk to. So that's my 2 cents, Max.
Um, so I'm going to just tell you what I told my friend when he came to me with this. The first thing that I said, and I remember I related it back to the conversation we had with Heidi a couple episodes ago. And I don't know if you haven't seen that conversation with Heidi. I think it started the things I wish I knew before I got married. If you haven't listened to that episode, please go back and listen to it. Because there were so many nuggets in that episode. And I started to relate it. So when Heidi was talking, she mentioned about the values that she had, and versus the values that, the person was displaying, and how they were not, so she wasn't able to be distinct at a younger time age, but unfortunately, or fortunately for my friend, I would say, is that the values of this that he wants in a person, versus the values that his girlfriend is displaying, they're not so difficult to discern, because it's quite clear. She's keeping two men, and she's doing what, well, yeah. So I advised, like, if this is a deal breaker for you, because eventually, by and large, this is infidelity, if we want to call a spade a spade. And if this is a deal breaker for you, then it is fine, to say this is not going to work for me. Because I think one of the things he was worried about is, this girl seems to be using me. This girl seems to be using me to get what she wants out of me, but it's not. But what I'm seeing in this relationship is not what I was hoping for, or it's just not. It's not given what it needed to give, as the Gen Zs will say, And I said, I referred him back to that. Values speak a lot, and when people show you who they are, believe them. you know, this is Maya Angelou speaking. Like when people show you who they are, believe them. And she's shown him like a lot of things, like a lot of double speak, a lot of misrepresentation. There's some lies. The way he even came into the knowledge of the other party, it was not a direct conversation. It was just a hidden hanky panky situation, for which already it's given no. And so that was I just related it back to that. And so whatever your value is, I realized that cheating might not be a deal breaker for some people, but for him it seemed to be. And so if you know your values, if the things that if it's not working for you, then just excuse yourself out of that situation. It is better that you get the heartbreak right now than you get a heartbreak, what you say, 5 years down the line. I remember I was having a conversation with another friend. And I don't know if we told the story before. The first, I used to tell him and I tease him all the time. I said, you took a relationship that was meant for 2 to 3 business days and turned it into a 5-year relationship. And at the end of the day, it still ended in heartbreak. So I always, if you have to walk away at the beginning, walk away, because if it's gonna end in heartbreak, it's gonna end in heartbreak, whether it's now or it's 5 years from now. And if I could say something to the lady in question, I don't have a relationship with her, so I didn't get the opportunity to like talk to her. But if I could say something to this lady in question, I would say all that glitters is not gold. For me, when there is consistent, and I don't know what she's looking for in a person, but inconsistency, or should I say rather, consistency would always trump inconsistency. When someone can waltz in and waltz out of your life whenever they feel or however they feel like it, you should take a moment to pause. You should take a moment to think deeply if this is what you want to do. Remember that people don't settle down in marriage. If anything, marriage exposes them for the worse, for the either for the worse or for the better. So if he already has the attitude of waltzing in and waltzing out, you guys have been dating for quite some time, let's say 5 years, and in those 5 years, you guys have been on again, off again multiple times, you should really think about it deeply. What that says to me is that you guys have not addressed the root cause of why you keep on being on again, off again. Whereas you have somebody, and I guess maybe boring is not for everybody, it's fine, but you have someone who is showing you what it means to be loved, what it means to be partnered, what it means to, you know, to be cared for. And sometimes you might be in your youthful exuberance and you want that exciting rush. You want that, you want that thing that gets your boy, that races your heart and makes you feel alive. But I promise you, it's not sustainable. 5 years down the line, if you're married to this person, the things those things that used to make your heart go, they're like, oh, he's giving me excitement. You will come to hate those things because it's not sustainable. So look down the road, like Heidi said. Is this what I want to be dealing with 5 years from now? Is this what I want to be dealing with 10 years from now? Would my 20-year-old self project 20 years in the future, would my future self, be proud of me for making this decision right now? And if you don't think your future self will be proud of you, then I think there's cause for pause. I understand that this person might be young. I don't know her. Like I said, I don't have a relationship with her. I do hope that she stumbles upon this podcast and takes a moment. All that glitters is not gold. Consistency will always trump inconsistency any day, anytime. And however you make your decision, I do hope for the best, and I pray that it all works out for everybody involved. So, yeah, that's my take.
That's a very valuable insight. And also just to look at it from the three perspective so that we remove every bias from this. And so we're just fair on both sides. And so I would say, girlfriend, turn the spotlight on you. Okay, zoom out from, oh, he has this quality, or he lacks this. Or what do you want? You, girlfriend, what do you want? What is important to you in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years? The guys would remain the same. They might grow in age, or they might increase financially, they might increase academically, but in terms of their intellect, in terms of their commitment towards you, in terms of their genuine support, in terms of how they add value, how they are very mindful of adding value to you, it might most likely remain the same. So be a little bit selfish at this point and put the spotlight on you and also on your future. And boyfriend one, I know you're a lover boy. That's okay. It's just natural to love people that you really care about. Also, at this point, I would like to say turn the spotlight on you. What's your priority in a woman? What are your values as a guy? And so most times we just talk about the ladies, and the ladies. And I think it's just fair. Let's just try to dedicate this episode to some guys, Max. And so it's just fair to turn the spotlight on you. What kind of mother to your kids do you really want? Can you see this girl in the next 20 years of being so valuable to you, to your career, to your personality, to your future self? And so it's also very important to also pay attention to that. And boyfriend too. We are watching you. We don't know you, but we are watching you. You know
I think
that there is, you know that there is an existing relationship. So why are you sticking your head? Why are you poking? Why are you trying to distract her and confuse her? But anyway, that's just a side comment. Anyway, turn the spotlight on you. If your girl is not very sure, and sometimes it goes to that one and comes back to you. So, what is that thing that keeps her going back to that other guy? Do you want to think about it for 1 minute? Do you also want to talk about it as well? So, beyond, oh, I finally got her. Have you won a baggage to yourself? So, it's beyond the fight. It's beyond who is man enough. What about you? What are your needs? What are your priority? What kind of woman do you really want? So think through and think thoroughly, and be sure that you're definitely not ruining someone's relationship, and you're sure you're not using I'm the man figure here, Just be a little bit selfless. If you are confusing her, please step back, okay, and let her just flow with her emotions and flow with her choice. If she's not meant for you, don't worry. This world has over 9 billion of people. You would definitely find one that fits into your life perfectly. And so thank you for listening to us. We really appreciate you subscribing to our channel, and you've gone ahead to also turn the notification button. We really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. We are very thankful and we're grateful to you. And so we're just asking one more time, follow us more on channels. We have 30 plus click on Instagram, at 30 plus click on Twitter, which is X. We also have 30 plus click on Facebook, and here on YouTube, 30 plus click. And if you are the type that loves podcast on Spotify, you would also be able to find us on the same handle. We look forward to being on your space next week. And then have yourself a wonderful weekend. Take care and bye.
bye bye.